Hello and welcome back. So in this video here, it is time to, well, resolve some problems. We wanted to go over why we were only seeing one terrain patch over inside of Unity.
Well, that wasn't the only one. I mean, that was just the most obvious one. And then I fixed that, and then some other problems popped up, and I fixed those. And then we got a real nasty problem, which when I ended up troubleshooting it out, turned out to be all the way back in the terrain exporter, specifically in the build asset bundle class itself. And that's where I am right now. So I want to fix this one first because it has nothing to do with what we're currently working on, but it definitely needs to be fixed before we can go forward.
Right, but again, just to reiterate what Lee just said, so if you are following along with all of the coding that he's been doing, make sure you open up the terrain exporter, what we did earlier on in this session 10. And from there, jump over to the bundle asset bundle class, or build asset bundle class.
Yep. And what we're looking at is in the build bundle. So this is another one of those cases where copy and pasting bit me because I copied from here and I pasted it down here. And I never went back and changed it because this one is the one that we're building out individual assets. But what I'm doing is I'm setting the initial asset to be the first element in the array, and then I'm adding all the elements in the array when I'm supposed to be iterating through each asset at a time.
Right.
So what we need to do is just send in the asset as the main asset, and for all the other assets, we just send in null. So that's a simple fix, but it was a pain to find and figure out what was going on. So make sure you get this or you will be spending a very long time trying to figure out why all your URLs are coming up correctly, but the name of the meshes or the patches that are being loaded don't match up with the URLs you sent in.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why. So we fixed this one. We can go ahead and close that out. And of course, you're going to have to re-export all your assets.
And now you've already, of course, built this in Unity, exported out your data once again, and moved it over.
Yep.
Meaning we can just continue on now in the terrain viewer. But for those that are following along, they made that change, saved, and then just closed it and jumped back over. They're not going to have.
They won't have it because
data.
the asset bundles are still corrupted. They have to be built with the new version.
That's right.
And in sake of expediency, we just did that off camera.
Right.
So now the other thing that we need to do is we have to fix why we're only seeing a few of our patches. One of the things that I want to do is go into our config ini file and change interest and hold range to 3 because I've only built out 9 patches. So I just want those 9 patches. If I had left this at 9 and 15, I'm going to get an error saying that we don't or I can't find any more patches. Now the other thing that I forgot to do, which is all inside of the camera utilities, is while I defined interest range and hold range, I never bothered to set them. So I'm going to say interest range is equal to config dot get int, and then this will be interest range. And then I need to do the same thing for hold range. Get int and set this to be hold range. So that will take care of the fixes inside of the camera utilities. Inside of Terrain Manager, we still have a problem here because get current zone is taking in a vector 3 and I'm passing in a vector 2. This one, I'm just going to go back to camera utilities to fix instead of fixing it in the other one. I'm going to change this to a vector 2, which is going to upset all of this because we don't really have a Z. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to Y here and set this to Y here as well. So that will fix that problem. Go back to Terrain Manager. Trying to remember if there was anything else I needed to adjust. I don't believe there is. So let's jump over to Unity. Make sure I'm in Terrain Viewer. I've got the scene loaded. Hit play. Now we see terrain. They all line up. And for those of you who may have run ahead, you may notice that on yours, these patches are duplicates of this patch, or they're not the right patches you expect, that would be because the terrain exporter was sending out the wrong things into the asset bundle.
Right.
So, and I can also turn, and everything works fine here. I can't run because I'm in mid-air, so if I go ahead and stop, go back to the character, let's put some gravity on her again. Save, build again. Drop to the ground, we're going to fall through because we have no colliders.
Yeah,
And
I was wondering about that.
yep. Oh no, we'll get there.
I know
And
we will.
also, we're in magenta, so we have no texture on, no material, no texture
Right.
on our patches, and both of those are what we're going to be addressing in the next couple of videos when we start working with the patch updater. But I just wanted to point out that there's no colliders.
Okay.
And that was the easiest way to do it.
Okay. Well, obviously this was a very important video. That exporter bug was a very critical one to catch. And as Lee pointed out earlier, before we even got into the terrain viewer, when we were wrapping up the exporter, we wouldn't know 100% for sure if there was a bug somewhere deep within it until we had created our viewer. We did the quick testing check just to pull some stuff in, but obviously a bug was revealed. It's just the nature of software development. But the bug showed its head when we were wrapping up the viewer for the most part, and it has now been squashed. So again, if you're following along, please make sure to go and fix that bug yourself, rebuild and re-export out your data. So with that, that is going to wrap up this video. Thanks a lot.